Welcome to another episode of Healthy Cooking with me, Chef Keith. This is a show where I will show you how to make healthy meals in the comfort of your very own kitchen. But before I go any further, let me thank our sponsors who've made this show possible, and they are WGLRO.com, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Urban Grandstand Digital, Scott's Cares Foundation, Blends to Blends Juice Bar Boutique, Renovations, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. First step here for today's recipe will be to start with some yeast here. Now I'm using fast-acting yeast, which is not regular because we want to save a little time. The price is not much different. It's pretty much the same. So if you don't have the time, you can use fast-acting, but I'm going to prepare it in the method that you were using regular yeast, so that you would just know how to use it. Both the same thing. Now, a lot of people don't usually work with yeast, but for those of you who are thinking about it, it is a live organism. So in order to start to use it, you need to use warm water, not cold water. Okay? Cold water will kill it. Water that's too hot will kill it. So you got to sort of have it somewhere in between. Okay? So I'm just going to make sure I get all my little yeast in this water to get it to wake it up. Okay. So all I'm going to do here is start to mix. I'm using plastic here. I'm going to go through a few dishes on this one, and I just do not feel like washing. Please forgive me. Alright, so there we go. Just going to let that sit for a few minutes. Set my spatula down. So I'm just going to move this over to the side. Okay, so I have my 6 cups here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a tablespoon of salt. I'm also going to actually follow that up with half of a teaspoon of salt as well. And I'm going to use some sugar. So I'm going to use this equal parts for sugar, so that's going to be 1 tablespoon and a half a teaspoon. Alright, nice and simple. And all I'm going to do at this point is just go ahead and incorporate all my dry ingredients in here. Okay, so there we have it, just tossing everything together. Because we're not, seasoning or anything like that. We're just going to basically give our little yeast, which are in here, something to munch on while they're getting ready. Okay, so I'm going to do now, you can smell the yeast smell in there. It's like pizza dough, for those of you not sure. So I'm just going to keep adding mixture in here. Just going to add more liquid into my dry ingredients. Little by little. added about half of it so far. So I'm just going to keep mixing. Getting everything here moist. Scrape everything off the side. Alright, so I'm just going to add the rest of the liquid in here. And you'll notice you'll see all the little bubbles start to pop up, and that's going to be with our yeast. They're munching down now, so they're going to get nice and full here. So all I'm going to do at this point is continue to stir to make it into a dough ball. Alright, so I have everything all mixed up. You want to make sure to put some flour on your hand before, because it can't get sticky. So all I'm doing now is making sure everything is all mixed together. See, there's my dough. It's coming together now. Okay. So, like I said, you definitely want to put some flour on your hands before you start working with it, or it will be basically glue, and which a lot of people who aren't doing much gluten nowadays, basically kind of what they're talking about there. So what I have here, so I'm just, as you can see, I'm just mixing all the excess flour here. Just want to get all the excess flour, mix it all together. It's like playing with Play-Doh. Back in the day, I remember when I was younger, they taught us in elementary school, because you know Play-Doh actually used to be a thing. That's when kids actually played with toys and stuff at home. So playing with something at home was actually a thing, and we made Play-Doh at school. But you remember, by the time you got it home, you played with it, you left it out because you went to the bathroom or went outside to play with your friends, and next thing you know, you come back as hard as a rock. So it was like one-use Play-Doh. But for those of you who grew up with money, you had the real colors and stuff like that. So you're sort of playing with it like that. Alright? So this is where we're at. So I'm just, like I said, just tossing everything around. Getting everything nice and incorporated. See, there's a ball right there. Just putting everything together here. So all you're doing is folding at this point. Alright? And I'm just going to put a paper towel on it. I'm going to leave this out for 3 hours. It's 3 hours waiting time on that. Okay, so what I'm going to do in the meantime is get some of my vegetables ready to go. And what I have today, one of my favorite go-tos, some broccoli. I have some really big broccoli here. Just going to use the caps here. So I'm going to cut it. You know, you can actually use all of this if you choose. I just might. All depends. But we like to get these pieces here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and chop up my broccoli. Okay. Just going to chop my broccoli up here. I want to get small pieces. Our soup will be kind of chunky, but not too much. And we just want to be able to get a little taste of all of our vegetables, all of our chicken, everything in every bite that we take here. Okay. So I'm just going to put these in a bowl. Nice and easy. Alright, so I'm just going to continue to dump everything in here. Alright, so that's good. There's our bowl right there. And I can take about the rest of that. Alright, so what I have here is just going to take, I'm going to take a carrot. Alright, and for our carrot, just going to go right down the middle here. Just going to go right down the middle with our carrot. Okay. And we're just going to just make our carrot into nice little chunks as well. Okay. There's our carrot right there. See that? Just in the strips like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and chop our carrot down into cubes. So we're using one carrot, we're using some one whole broccoli cap there. Get a nice little color. I might throw in a second carrot, but I think for now, I think that's a good start, right? So what we have here is our chicken breast. I'm actually going to use about 2 pounds. Okay, and I'm going to start off by thinly slicing them because basically I'm going to make these into smaller cube cuts. Remember, I just want to be able to get a little bit of every different taste and flavor that we're going to add to our soup in every bite. So the smaller you make every bite, the better that chances are. So you don't necessarily, I mean, you can go with big chunks if you choose, but for this I'm actually going to go with smaller chunks, and I'm just preparing this ahead of time because we're still waiting for our bread to finish rising. So we're about as far as the bread's concerned, we're about an hour and a half in. So we're about an hour and a half in as far as the bread is concerned. And now we're starting to work on our other ingredients because we are going to be able to get everything ready in the meantime, and right before that bread is ready to go, we'll be able to start the soup. Okay, so here's our chicken all minced up. Just going to add a little seasoning to it right now before I put it in the refrigerator. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of salt. Just going to put a tablespoon of cumin. I'm going to use a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of black pepper as well. And all I'm going to do here is go ahead and stir this all up. Give it a good stir. There we go. And once I get everything, get my seasoning. See, I'm not going to over season, of course, because we can always add to later. So this is just for when we Get everything ready for the soup. I'm gonna have a little salt and pepper on the chicken. So there we go, keeping that nice and simple. Okay, so while I'm cooking the chicken up a little bit, I actually turned my board over a bit. And so what I'm doing now, see, look how big, how it all rose up. Alright, and I'm just gonna take, look at that. Beautiful. Now, I put some flour down on the board here, so it'll be easy to work with, and plus it'll be really sticky, so you want to get the flour on your hands so it doesn't stick so much. See that? So all I'm going to do is start to fold and press. Fold and press here. Look at that. It's a good to show. Make me feel like I'm doing pizza dough or something. Alright, so I'm going to keep folding and pressing the dough here. Like I said, you want to make sure to keep your hands with some flour on, because it does get sticky. Look at that. I'm moving everything around. So what I'm doing here is pressing the dough out. So I'm just going to keep folding and just getting, this is kneading here. And so I'm just going to get all the air bubbles out. So I'm going to keep on with the dough for about 10 minutes, tossing it around. Then I'm going to let it sit for another 10 minutes or so to let it rise one more time before we make our bread bowls. Okay, so what I got here is a little oil in the pan. Just gonna add a little bit of that butter. Alright, so just gonna go ahead. I have this on a little under medium. Okay, and all I'm gonna do here is start with my onions. So I'm just going to start off with a few onions here. This is actually 2 yellow onions. And some olive oil. Okay. Just getting this started here. Just going to start it off just to get it a little soft here. Okay, gonna let that get nice and ready. And while that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my chicken, get it out of the refrigerator. Smells amazing. Something about sauteing onions. I wonder who the first person was that ever sauteed onions. They were a genius. I can tell you that much. Now, from this point, I also am going to grab some garlic. I'm going to put 1 garlic clove in here. Get that started. 1 minced clove of garlic. Just going to put in the olive oil. Okay. And so, just continue the process here. So now we have that onion and garlic going here. And so I'm going to use that chicken that we had from earlier. Alright. So we're just going to cook this chicken for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so my chicken is almost cooked all the way through, so this is a good time for me to go ahead and add 4 cups of chicken broth here. So just gonna go 4 cups, 32 ounces for all my mathematician family. Alright. And I'm just going to actually put this on simmer. So what I'm going to do, and here goes all of my vegetables. Alright. And I'm just going to saute. This is our broccoli and carrot mixture that we cut up earlier. And what I'm looking for here is I want to make sure that all of our carrots are soft and our broccoli is soft. So this will take about 5 minutes to do here. So I'm just going to keep tossing everything together, and I have it on a little under medium again. Okay, so now our carrots and broccoli are sauteed down. All I'm going to do here is add a tablespoon of flour. I think I will use a tablespoon and a half. And from there, I'm just going to toss my vegetables here, just to make sure that I cook out all that flour taste. Okay, and there we go. Alright, that's nice and ready. So I'm going to take some evaporated milk, skim, just going to pour in like so, and that's 12 ounces. So I'm just going to take 12 ounces of skim evaporated milk, cut down on some of our calories here. Okay, and I'm just going to let that cook for about another 3 minutes, and then I'm going to pour the entire thing into our pan here, where our chicken and our chicken broth, our garlics and our onion, all of that has been simmering for the last 20 minutes. Okay, so I have my oven on. My oven is on 400. See, look at my dough. Nice, easy dough. It's been resting for about 3.5 hours at this point. Okay, so I took a little bit of the olive oil that I had in there, and I rolled the dough around a circle. So I'm just going to make a little marker here. across the top. And this is going to the oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. Also, before I close the oven, I'm going to take a bowl of water. It's going to simulate steam, and I'm going to put it right directly underneath the pan. That way the outside will be nice and crispy. Alright, there's our chicken, our creamy chicken soup, and I'm just going to add about a cup of rice in there. Here's for the stir. Nice and beautiful. Look at all the colors. The soup looks perfect. It's amazing. So let's see what I got here. You see, here's my bread bowl right there. And what I'm gonna do, oh, listen to that crusty outside. Just gonna cut a nice big circle right there in the middle. All right, and all I'm gonna do still hot, so you have to be a little bit comfortable. Just want to zoom in for you can see. Alright, just gonna cut a piece out the top there, and I'm just gonna sort of empty this out a bit. You can still use this for the soup. Alright, and all I'm gonna do is just take this soup, and I'm just gonna dump it right down there. And there you have it. Nice and tasty, easy chicken, creamy chicken and rice soup with a homemade bread bowl. Now, what do you think? Wasn't that simple? And once you try it, you'll find out just how tasty it will be. But before I let you go, I would just like to thank our sponsors who made this show possible once again. And they are WGLRO.com, Scott's Cares Foundation, Urban Grandstand Digital, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend, Juice Bar Boutique, Ren Novations, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Now, remember to join me again next week as I'll show you how to make a tasty, affordable, and gourmet style meal in the comfort of your very own kitchen. So just remember, easy, healthy, tasty, gourmet style cooking is as close to you as you are to your kitchen. I'll see you next week.